What if simply cleaning an old abandoned room could expose you to a deadly virus hidden in the dust? A virus carried by rodents that can attack the lungs with terrifying speed and in severe cases become life-threatening within days.
Welcome to Daily Life Explained, where we break down complex ideas into simple, mind-blowing stories.
Imagine entering an old abandoned room, a room that has not been cleaned for months. Dust covers the floor, the air feels heavy, and somewhere in the darkness, rats have been living unnoticed. You begin sweeping the floor, and suddenly, invisible particles rise into the air. Without realizing it, you may have just inhaled a dangerous virus, known as hantavirus. Hantavirus is one of the world's lesser-known but potentially deadly diseases. Although rare, it can attack the lungs with terrifying speed, and in severe cases, become life-threatening within days. What makes this virus especially frightening is that infection can happen simply by breathing contaminated air. Hantavirus is not just one virus, but an entire family of viruses carried mainly by rodents, such as rats and mice. Different forms of the virus exist in different parts of the world. In North and South America, hantavirus is known for causing a severe illness called hantavirus pulmonary syndrome, also known as HPS. This disease mainly attacks the lungs and can make breathing extremely difficult. In Europe and Asia, some types of hantavirus affect the kidneys instead, causing a disease known as hemorrhagic fever with renal syndrome. Scientists first identified hantavirus as a major health threat in 1993, after a mysterious outbreak in the United States. Healthy young adults suddenly began suffering from severe breathing problems, and several people died unexpectedly. Investigators later traced the outbreak back to infected deer mice. One of the scariest things about hantavirus is how easily people can accidentally expose themselves to it. The virus spreads mainly through infected rodent urine, saliva, and droppings. As these materials dry, tiny virus particles can mix with dust and enter the air. This means a person does not even need direct contact with the rat to become infected. Simply cleaning an old garage, basement, warehouse, or abandoned building can become dangerous if infected rodents have been present. Experts warn that sweeping or vacuuming dry rat droppings is especially risky because it can release contaminated particles directly into the air, where they can be inhaled into the lungs. Once hantavirus enters the body, it begins attacking blood vessels. The immune system reacts strongly, causing the blood vessels to leak fluid. In hantavirus pulmonary syndrome, this fluid begins collecting inside the lungs. As more fluid builds up, breathing becomes harder and harder. Many patients describe the experience as feeling like they are drowning from inside their own bodies. In severe cases, oxygen levels drop dangerously low, blood pressure crashes, and organs can begin to fail. What makes the disease particularly dangerous is how quickly it can progress. Someone may feel normal one week and require intensive care only days later. The early symptoms of hantavirus can easily be mistaken for the flu. Most patients initially experience fever, muscle aches, fatigue, headaches, chills, nausea, and vomiting. Because these symptoms seem common, many people ignore them. However, after a few days, the disease can suddenly become much more serious. Patients may begin suffering from severe coughing, chest tightness, rapid heartbeat, shortness of breath, and difficulty breathing. As the lungs continue filling with fluid, emergency medical treatment becomes critical. Although hantavirus infections are rare, they can be extremely dangerous. Some forms of hantavirus pulmonary syndrome have mortality rates between 30 and 40%, meaning nearly 1 out of every 3 infected patients may not survive. Currently, there is no specific cure or guaranteed antiviral treatment for hantavirus. Doctors mainly focus on supportive care, including oxygen therapy, ventilators, and intensive care treatment. While the patient's body fights the infection, this is why early diagnosis and immediate medical attention are so important. Several hantavirus outbreaks have been reported around the world over the years. One of the most famous outbreaks occurred in the United States in 1993. Scientists later discovered that unusually heavy rainfall had increased the deer mouse population, leading to greater human exposure to infected rodents. In 2020, news of a hantavirus-related death in China spread rapidly across social media. During the COVID-19 pandemic, many people feared another global outbreak. However, experts quickly clarified that hantavirus behaves very differently from COVID-19 because it does not spread easily between humans. Even so, hantavirus remains a serious public health concern in rural and rodent-infested areas. Fortunately, there are several ways to reduce the risk of hantavirus infection. Experts recommend controlling rodent infestations, keeping food sealed properly, wearing gloves and masks while cleaning dusty spaces, avoiding sweeping or vacuuming dry droppings directly, spraying disinfectant or bleach solution before cleaning, and ventilating closed spaces before entering. These simple precautions can greatly reduce the chances of exposure. Hantavirus is a reminder that some of the deadliest dangers in the world are completely invisible, hidden within dust, silence, and abandoned places. This virus shows how something as ordinary as cleaning a room can unexpectedly become dangerous. Though rare, its rapid progression and high mortality rate make hantavirus one of the most frightening rodent-borne diseases known to science. And sometimes, the deadliest threats are the ones we never see. A dusty room, an abandoned garage, a single breath, that's all it can take. Hantavirus is rare, but when ignored, it can become deadly. Stay alert, stay protected, because fear doesn't always come from monsters. Sometimes it comes from the dust beneath your feet. Subscribe for more real stories that feel stranger than fiction.